What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Goku Run Talks Tuesday. In this video, we're going to talk about the Newton Fate 60s. Alright guys, so Newton did send me over these shoes for a review, but we had no prior agreement whether I should do a positive negative review. This is my own thoughts on this product, and they also won't get a chance to preview this video before it goes live on YouTube. They'll be watching it for the first time, just like you guys are. So let's talk about these shoes. I have run in these shoes for about 50 miles, so I'm ready to do a full review on it. But yeah, the first thing you will notice on these shoes is that red colorway. So shoe color isn't the most important thing, but the color of these shoes is definitely something that people love to comment on. So we gotta look at this nice little red color right here. So let's talk about the upper right now. And the upper has these reflective materials over here. Newton is pretty much known for having pretty reflective shoes too. So the Newton symbol over here is going to be reflective. And then we go to the mesh upper, great for running in 100-degree temperatures like I am doing over here in Southeast Texas. I can literally see right through the shoe into the camera, into the screen, and I can see right through it. So definitely a nice airy shoe. It does have some toe protection over here in the front. So if you see right here, it has this little plasticky type of feeling at the top, and then also this little toe guard over here. If we move back to the heel, it does have a nice little heel cup in the back. It feels like it's a plastic type of material. And then the pillow around it, it's not a super thick pillow or super plushy one, but I've had no issues with it when running in it. And then you go to the tongue. The tongue is definitely a lot thicker than the tongue on the Newton Distance 9s, for instance, that I wore. But again, no issues with that either. All right, let's go into the insole. So we go to the insole over here. I had no issues with this slipping on me during the run. It was very comfortable. If you look down here, you'll see this is that Newtonium foam. You can see it more inside of here in the heel, but that is the nice Newtonium foam. And speaking of that midsole is that Newtonium foam. For me, it felt responsive, but not super responsive as compared to the Newton Distance 9s. And then of course, when you're talking about Newtons, you do have to talk about the 5 lugs. So this does have 5 lugs, just like all the other Newtons have. And if you guys don't know about the lugs basically work as they say, a trampoline. So you should be landing right there on your midfoot, and then this is actually going to push up against a membrane, and then it's going to go into the shoe and then bounce up. So it's going to provide a little bit of a trampoline type of effect. And you know what? These shoes are a drop of only 4.5. So in the Distance 9s, they were a drop of, I think, 2.5. So that means that from here to here, the drop is 4.5 millimeters. So it's not a huge drop. And they do say that whenever you're running, because the lugs are dynamic, meaning they press in when you're landing, the drop actually lessens as you land. So it could be anywhere from, 1 millimeter to 4.5 millimeters as you run, because you are compressing that front part. So the drop becomes a little bit less. So as far as stack height, they say that this is a 22 millimeter stack height. I couldn't really find the information on that, but like I said, it does have a 4.5 millimeter drop from heel to toe. So again, if you look at the sole of the foot, you will see the rubber parts over here. The midfoot where the lugs are rubber, and then the forefoot is going to have the rubber, and also on the heel. And then everything else is going to be that Newtonium foam. And you can actually kind of see the Newtonium foam inside there in the middle where they say it has that little extra bounce. So that is pretty cushy right there, but I'll talk about the ride in a little bit. And then they also talk about a diffusion plate that they have. They say that the diffusion plate starts from the midfoot and goes all the way to the back. There is some type of XPS diffusion plate. Not sure what that really is, but it does have a little diffusion plate. All right, so let's talk about the ride of these shoes. The ride of these shoes, I thought at the beginning was a little bit firm, but once you get used to them, it's fine. You don't really feel the lugs too much on these shoes. I think it's because of that 4.5 millimeter drop that it has. If you wore the Newton Distance 9s that has a 2.5 millimeter drop, you'll definitely feel a little bit more springiness than what these have. But these shoes are meant to be an introduction to Newton shoes, so that's probably why you don't feel the lugs as much. And is that a bad thing? Well, I think that if you aren't used to a lower drop, your calves are really hurt, especially if you're wearing shoes with lugs on it. So you do need to take a little bit of time to get used to it. For me, in my running history, I did used to run in Vibram 5 fingers a lot. So my calves are used to running more forefoot and they're strong and my ligaments are all strong. But if you're used to running in a higher stack height, you'll have to introduce yourself slowly into a lower stack height. So these shoes are going to be good for that. All right, so who are these shoes for? These shoes are for those runners looking for a neutral trainer that you can get some miles in. For me, this was not a super fast shoe. You do feel the lugs a little bit, but it's not as prominent as the Distance 9s because I ran in those, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but you will feel that trampoline effect a little bit, but it's not as much as it could be if you ran in their other lower drop shoes. As far as pros, I did feel they were comfortable for me on the run. They do have a little bit of flex, but when I first ran in them, they did feel a little bit stiff. But once I broke these shoes in a little bit, the ride felt just fine for me. I do also like the upper. The mesh is nice and airy. And then of course the colorway, the red colorway is nice and flashy, just like a lot of runners like. So as far as cons for this shoe, you know, for me, I do prefer a lower drop. Even though they do say that it has that dynamic drop because the lugs will push in as you run. For me, if I'm gonna buy a Newton shoes, I'm gonna buy them for that trampoline-like effect. And this was a little bit blunted compared to the Newton Distance 9s. So that's probably gonna be the only con for me. But other than that, I do like these shoes. I think that these shoes are going to be a great training shoe for me. I'm going to put a lot of miles in them and they will definitely go into my rotation for my next training cycle. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this review on the Newton Fate 6s. If you guys did, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.